Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Instant Movie Reviews with Raina and Drew. I'm Drew.
I'm Raina.
And today we are actually doing something a little bit different for our videos. We don't have an intro for you because we've already seen the movie we're about to review. So let me explain. Our local Cineplex has started doing these like Monday surprise premieres called What the Film, where they basically tell you how long the movie is, what the rating is, but they don't tell you what the movie actually is. You just have to buy a ticket and go in blind. I've done it once before for Eternity. Check out my shorts review for that in the shorts section if you want to. And tonight, Raina decided to join, and
it was a mystery theater.
It was a mystery film, and it was Scream 7. No, just joking.
No,
what did we just see?
Well, first of all, I will say that I had a few ones that I was good with. I was like, oh, maybe it'll be The Housemaid or Anaconda or Song Sung Blue or something, and then I was like, oh, but what if it's Marty Supreme?
Yeah, we don't want to see Marty Supreme, mainly because we don't like Kevin O'Leary, and he's in it for some unknown, mysterious reason.
Yeah. So, Canadians, right? But we were very pleasantly surprised that it was Song Sung Blue.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very cute because they had the actors kind of greet you and say, like, yay, welcome to your mystery showing kind of thing. Surprise, it's us, and we're happy that you're here. And it was super cute. And I know that it's not like personal, but it was nice. It was nice.
Yeah.
And I like that this is kind of something they're doing to try to get butts back in seats in the theater. And I do find that the audience, and I'm sure you found this now for both, the audience is really good because the people who are doing like a mystery showing, they're people who are pretty much geared to like any kind of movie. I think they're pretty open to it.
You're not getting like someone who's just like going to a movie for the sake of going to a movie, because there's plenty to actually choose from. Zootopia, like big crowd pleasers. To go into a film not knowing what it is, I feel like you're going to get like the cinephiles for that.
Yeah. And so even though we didn't film an intro to this, I did see the trailer months ago and put it on Drew's radar, and I did a deep dive into the man. It's not really a biopic. It's presented in a trailer like it's a total biopic, but it's really like a duo biopic, right? So it's about Mike Sardina and his wife, and Mike Sardina was this Milwaukee, not quite a Neil Diamond impersonator, but kind of like a Neil Diamond tribute. And he and his wife created this tribute group that they called Lightning and Thunder. And that's because his name, like he went by Lightning as his handle. And so the film actually just follows them meeting and falling in love and their crazy rise to fame, and then all the different hardships they face along the way. And it's not a spoiler to say, Mike is no longer with us. So I did like read all about that before I went in there. And I think a lot of folks from Milwaukee will know that. And a lot of Americans too. For us up here in Canada, not really something we knew about.
Yeah, I certainly never heard of either of these people before. According to the end credits, it was based on a documentary. So kind of similar to how Last Breath started out as a documentary that they turned into a film. So I knew absolutely nothing about this real life couple. I thought the trailer looked cute. The first trailer that they released only shows you like the lighthearted comedic side of this, and then the second trailer, which was a little spoilery, so be careful if you see the second trailer, gives away that there's actually a little bit of seriousness and a bit of tragedy to this movie.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard not to spoil something like this because it happened in the late 90s and early 2000s. So, like, it's out there.
Yeah.
It happened. It's a real thing that happened. They did stay mostly close to what happened. And I think because they went, sort of shot for shot along with some of the documentary stuff and different things I read, but, little creative liberties along the way to make it fit for a movie. So yeah, let's talk about the actors in this.
Yeah, so the main character of Mike is played by Hugh Jackman, who is definitely out of his Wolverine mode. He's a little schlubbier in this. I'm sure that's intentional. I almost had a hard time during parts of the movie to be like, that's Wolverine. That's Wolverine. How is that Wolverine? Because he's such a broad character, but in a very different way than the grizzled, gruff Wolverine, even the more comedic Wolverine we got in the Deadpool movie. But I was very impressed with him. I already knew he could sing because of the Greatest Showman that he was
and
in.
Les Mis.
Yeah, but I was very impressed with his vocals in this. Like, he's got a really nice, smooth singing voice to listen to.
He did a good job of doing like a Neil Diamond tribute. Like, he really did. And Kate Hudson, same thing. One thing I really liked about her character is they let her be heavier. and not look as polished and everything. And Kate was kind of allowed to look her age for once. And I actually found that really refreshing and endearing. And it made the chemistry between the two of them feel more real.
They felt like real people because they weren't like, Hugh Jackman wasn't super shredded and she wasn't super thin. Not to say that she's like super heavy in this movie, but
just like in terms of what's normal for her, like it's heavier than I've ever seen her, but not in like an unhealthy way. It's just like she looks like a middle-aged perimenopausal woman.
And it's so refreshing in the current era where like it seems like every other actress is like on Ozempic and is like super slimming down, like Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo and who else, Meghan Trainor,
literally all of them.
Yeah, it's just, it was so nice to see a woman who looked like a regular real life human that you would just see on the street. Of course she's still beautiful, but
yeah, I think one of the things that appealed to me is they did feel like real people. Like Drew and I know people like this. Like their personalities, their life stories, it's almost like an amalgamation of multiple people that we know kind of put into one. And we have friends who are professional musicians that are in their 50s and 60s, and they've just been doing this their whole life. They never really got like their big break, but they've had lots of huge career highs and lows and things. And the thing that I find is like this common thread between all of them that the film captured really well is just this undeniable love for not only music but showmanship and being able to perform. And I was saying to Drew while we walked out of the movie theater, as musicians ourselves, like we don't do a lot anymore, but we do the occasional karaoke. But Drew and I both play guitar and write music and everything. There is this piece that I feel like the younger crowd is missing because everything is kind of packaged to be a side hustle to monetize. Like, okay, we got to make the reel or the TikTok with the song or something. It's got to be catchy and everybody's got to like it. Like it's really commercialized that way. But you miss out on like the joy of getting up on stage at a restaurant. And yeah, it's only a crowd of like 20 or 30 people, but they're singing along with you and they're loving it and you feel the best. Just like what we did on my birthday.
Yeah.
Karaoke.
So in this movie, they do everything from performing in like an empty Korean restaurant to like 6 people, to opening for Pearl Jam, to doing a sold out show. And for all of the performances, they give their all, regardless of how big the audience or how major the performance is. It's like literally for the love of the music, the love of the performance, and the connection with the art of it.
And also just like the crowd pleasing and the showmanship, right?
Yeah.
Like I loved that Hugh's character, like he gets so into it and he just like feeds off it even with just a little bit of people. And we know people like that, right? Drew and I used to regularly do like open mics and then regularly do karaoke. Like karaoke kind of replaced it because we had busy lives and schedules and stuff. And now we get to do it once in a while because we have to be grown-ups with like responsibilities. But I still like, I get up and I sing a song and the crowd connects with it. And even though it's only karaoke and it might be like 30 people in a bar, oh yeah, I'm a rock star in that moment. Like I'm feeling it. I'm like, Mo, cue the lights. Sing the harmonies, man.
Yeah. So another performance that I think really stood out to me was Kate Hudson's character has 2 children already from a previous relationship. It's very much like a blended family kind of situation. And both the son and the daughter are really, really good, but there's a lot of focus on the daughter.
Yeah.
And she's played by Ella Anderson. I don't think I've ever seen her in anything before. She's looks so much like Kate Hudson. It's shocking.
I actually thought they were related. I made Drew look it up because I was like, I even turned to Drew at one point and I was like, do you think that's her real daughter?
Yeah.
Because they just look so much alike.
And her character goes through such a journey. It's like the early, like surly, almost silent teenager who does not want to get to know Hugh Jackman's character to just really having this emotional journey. She almost goes through as much as the main 2 stars. I thought that she was just spectacular, and the camera just loved her with her big eyes and her round, cute little face. It was just like every time she was on screen, I literally could not take my eyes off of her.
And all of these characters really go through stuff that is unbelievable but true. And they always say that reality makes the best stories. It's stranger than fiction. And that is what happens. And there's something in the movie that happens twice, and I looked it up and it's real. It happens twice. And she makes a joke about it being like lightning strikes in the same spot twice.
Yeah.
And you know, like the extreme, like the bad things that they went through, like they're all real. The good things they went through are all real. And the sad thing is that Mike never did get to meet Neil Diamond because he passed away before he could. But when they made the documentary about them, his wife did get to meet him. And there's this beautiful picture of them online hugging, which is really sweet. But they are such a national treasure to that state. And you can Google this, and it's like a rabbit hole. It's so wild to see that like they're really famous there, even
Yeah.
though it's like we're only just learning about them. Like they were a big deal.
Well, I mean, that there can be like a local connection. I mean, look at Joel Plaskett, a local
Yeah,
musician who's really big here that most people like. I don't think that anyone like in South Carolina will have heard of him. Or even just a band like the Tragically Hip that was absolutely enormous in Canada, but not really known at all in the
yeah,
States. So music can really be a regional kind of local thing.
yeah. But I think also just the fact that it was, covers as well. It wasn't like original songs and stuff. And they really did a great job of showing how Mike had a lot of respect for the singers he was covering, and how he actually wouldn't do certain things because he thought it was disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
The guy they cast to play Eddie Vedder looked like Eddie
Mm-hmm.
Vedder, like back in the 90s. It
Yeah.
looked like him. And his voice, he sounded like him.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with that. That was really good.
I love that. What's a Pearl Jam?
What's a Pearl Jam? It's like some guy on the phone, Eddie Vedder. It's really hard not to spoil this, guys. It's a real thing that happened, and it's a documentary. So like we're not telling you everything, obviously. But in terms of like, do you think this is gonna reach out to a widespread audience, or do you think it's more niche?
It's so hard to predict because, again, I don't think a lot of people have heard of these people, and biopics, especially musical ones, have been really hit or miss. Like the Springsteen one recently just didn't do well at the box office.
I forgot about it, actually.
But the trailer was endearing, and I feel like there is a broad appeal. You don't need to be a Neil Diamond fan. I know Sweet Caroline, that's the only song of his I know. That's a plot point as well, that people only tend to know that song. But I loved every song that they played in this. It's got a lot of comedy, which I think hits.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
They are very funny, quirky people.
But it's also got some serious drama. So I feel like if you're somebody who is like into these like serious movies that are actually like telling a real human story, kind of reminds me a little bit of like The Last Showgirl, and these movies that like tell stories about real people going through real struggles. Obviously they don't all open for Pearl Jam, but yeah, I it's hard to predict. What do you think?
So it's definitely classified as a musical, I think, and I know that like a lot of people will write off musicals. It's not their thing. It's funny, like as a musical person, I don't like a lot of musicals. I'm very select in the musicals that I like, but this is actually the style that I like, and it reminds me a lot of the Elton John one that I liked, Rocket Man, where the music is kind of woven into the storytelling narrative. It's not necessarily somebody bursting out in song. It's actually them like doing a performance. Like I kind of like it like that when it's a bit more realistic. And then occasionally I do like just a straight up musical, like West Side Story is one of my favorite, Jesus Christ Superstar. I did really like Sweeney Todd before I found out all the stuff about Johnny Depp. Like, but overall, like I feel like it may still have a bit more niche appeal. I think I would like people to be open minded in seeing it. It's just hard to predict what viewers are like, and it may be one of those things that does okay at the box office, but then takes off on streaming.
Yeah, and I mean it's missed all the awards precursors. The Golden Globe nominations are out. Other big nominations are coming out, and I haven't seen Hugh Jackman or Kate Hudson in any of those. Although I think Kate Hudson does give an awards-worthy performance. She has to really display a lot of different emotions, and she really inhabits the character. A lot of the time, you almost forget that you're looking at Kate Hudson, the movie star that everybody knows.
Yeah,
right?
her accent was great in it too. I just like the way she was talking. Like I just loved it. It was the cutest thing.
I feel like Kate Hudson is having a bit of a resurgence lately. She was amazing in Glass Onion.
She had a bit of a downfall when she did that film with Sia. So
I forgot about that.
And that was music where she was singing and stuff, and the content of it was not very good for autistic people.
Yeah.
So that kind of like was a bit of a fall from grace. It's a big misstep, eh?
But I feel like besides Glass Onion, there's something else recent that I was like, who was that? And you were like, it was Kate Hudson. I can't think of it right now. But I feel like
her half brother is the U.S. agent in the Marvel series.
Yes.
Yeah.
Surprise favorite character from Thunderbolts. I didn't know that character, and now I absolutely love him. But
yeah. But I do have to admit, two criticisms I had of it is I did find it really long, which is tricky because you want to do justice to these people's lives, and it is based on a documentary. So when I say that, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I was checking my watch a couple times because I was like, this is 2.5 hours, like it's long. Also, there were scenes that I felt went on and on and on, and I wasn't sure of the point of why we were taking so long. And then there were montages that went so fast where I was like, hold on, slow down. What just happened? Like, I actually wanted to know about this part. So that kind of like threw me out of it a bit. And I did find it really cringy at certain points, like really cringy. And I think you're supposed to, because the characters themselves are a little cringy. They're cheesy. They're really into what they're doing. And it's like, if that's not your thing, you might find it cringy. Like, you might find it a bit too much. If you're not into music and you don't love this stuff that same way, you know, everyone's got their fandom. Like, it felt like I was watching like somebody who was like really hardcore into their fandom.
Yeah.
So like at some points in the movie, even though, you know, it's just Hugh Jackman, like I would get secondhand embarrassment and I would get like the cringy tingles.
It's a very unself-conscious performance that he gives.
Yeah,
which
but I
mean,
I think that's intentional. It's just not everyone may enjoy it. Like, I will, first half of the movie, I found it was just like cringe after cringe after cringe.
But endearingly so.
Sometimes endearingly so, sometimes a little bit over the top for me. A little bit distracting.
Yeah,
almost,
I can see that.
Right? But then once we started hitting some of the drama, I felt that's when I found it was more endearing. But at the beginning, I was a little worried that it was almost like a parody of the people.
Yeah.
And so I was like, ooh, is this coming on strong?
Yeah.
But then it relaxed.
Yeah.
Like it grew into itself.
I do like, though, that even after some of the serious stuff happens and some real drama and real emotions come in, it doesn't like just flick a switch and now it's just sadness and like trauma and that sort of thing.
Oh yes,
there is still a lot of heart and a lot of comedy after the various bad things that happen.
Well, and Mike is a recovering alcoholic, and thankfully, you know, for anybody who might find that a little bit triggering, you know, there's no real alcoholism scenes in it other than him going to AA, which I actually think is really wonderful because he's modeling like a good, healthy relationship with alcohol and what you should do and everything. And that gives it a nice, a serious undertone to things, because you know that I mean, this is a guy who's like in bars and stuff and doing everything, and he's still managing to walk the walk. Like, it was really nice to see. Some triggering content. So like the alcoholism is one, even though there's no like raging alcoholic scene or anything like that. Another is one character does get put into a mental health program back in the 90s. So this is kind of like when you would like put somebody in a program.
Yeah.
It's not shown in a exploitive or dramatic way. And it may be not representative of what women would have experienced back then. But in this character's case, it was done with dignity. It was the right choice to do. And it wasn't played as like, oh, this terrible trauma that happened to her. It was like, no, she went to get help. So I liked that, but some people may find it triggering. And there is a bit of blood here and there throughout the movie and medical stuff.
Yeah.
So nothing too overly gory, but there are some uncomfortable scenes.
I can tell you, though, that the violent thing that happens in this is something that I can find triggering myself.
Yeah.
I get nervous when I hear that something like this, and I'm not even going to say what it is because I don't want to spoil it, and I can tell you that as someone who is sensitive to this particular thing, it actually didn't bother me. So I don't feel like I need to just spoil that that's the thing that happens.
Yeah, parts of it bothered me. I just visceral. I had a visceral reaction, right?
Well, and I mean, the character that it happens to, the actor really sells what has happened.
Really sells
I agree, though, it was a little long sometimes. There were a couple of songs that I think we heard performed more than once in that movie, and I was like, I want to hear that song in its entirety again.
Yeah.
But I can kind of see why they did it. But yeah, I agree. They could have trimmed a little bit.
I think some of the songs could have been a medley instead of like one after the other.
Or just play a snippet of it.
Yeah, play a snippet of it, or use one of the singing of the songs a little bit more for montages instead of just maybe one, like maybe put a couple. So Drew, how do you rate it?
So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, even though I agree it did drag, and I didn't actually look at my watch, but a couple times I was like, oh, we're still going. But ultimately, it told just a very human story. I found it very, very real, very heartwarming at times, very insightful at other times. And it wasn't what I was expecting. When I first saw this trailer, I was like, it's going to be the goofy Neil Diamond impersonator movie. And it was something that I really wasn't quite expecting. And I loved those 3 performances that I mentioned.
Did tear up a few times.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not saying much because I teared up at like 3 trailers before the freaking movie.
But what about you? What would you give it?
So I'm not going to go quite as high as you, but I think it's more my personal taste. Like, I don't think I'd watch it again. And there's other ones we've seen, like Rocket Man, that I've watched more than once and stuff. So it's not it doesn't really stay with me because of the movie. It stays with me because of the story. I'm
Mhm.
interested in the actual people. Like, I'm gonna go home and read up about it. But like, the movie to me was kind of like, yeah, like that was a fun movie. So I'm rating it a 7.
Mm.
Don't come for me, Milwaukeeans, please. I think I need to go find the documentary because I think I'll probably enjoy the documentary more.
Yeah.
I really do enjoy those. Like, I saw a documentary about Johnny Cash once,
Mhm.
which also showed Johnny Cash in all his moments and glory and sometimes cringe.
Yeah.
But it was real. And even though it had his music interdispersed through it, I think I just relate to that genre a little bit more than the over the top
Mhm.
edited movie.
But we still both liked it, and you should give it a shot if what we've said has piqued your curiosity. I'm not sure how long it'll actually be in theaters once it starts.
I think it's a good Christmas watch.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it is a good Christmas watch. So speaking of Christmas, Christmas is coming. We're not going to end up filming reviews for every movie we see, because we're going to try to cram in a couple, I think, over the next few weeks. But what do we have coming up?
We already have our tickets to see Avatar because I absolutely loved Avatar, especially Avatar: The Way of Water.
He was late to the Avatar
Yeah.
party. I had to take him to go see a showing of when they brought the first one back because he'd never seen anything. And I was like, Drew, it's been like almost 2 decades. If we're going to see this, you have to see it in IMAX 3D, which you were a little bit nervous about the 3D, weren't you? Because you get motion sickness.
Well, especially since it's all CGI, I was a little bit worried about that. But no, I really liked the first one a lot more than I expected to, and The Way of Water just blew me away. I'm hoping Fire and Ash does the same for me. We may not do a video review for it. The big blockbuster ones that we've done for like Fantastic Four don't really get the same views because there's just so much competition, but we might give you a little short opinion about it.
I feel like it's really good for you to do that kind of short because you are a bit more newer to this franchise, and it's like old hat to me. We do that sometimes, right? We do these little short reviews because it's just easier, or because Drew can see more than I can. I want to see The Housemaid. I love the author. I love the book. I love all her other books, and I'm really hoping that it does well for her so that we get more of her books, because The Housemaid is good, but she has some books that are better. And I really want to see them adapted into movies and TV shows. I don't know if we'll be able to fit it in, but there is a horror movie, a Christmas horror movie coming out. What's it called? Is it Silent Night?
Silent Night, Deadly Night. It's a remake of a very cheesy slasher from the 80s that I was expecting nothing from, but it's getting really positive reviews and wants to see it, so we may try to sneak that in somewhere.
Yeah, I'm taking my kid to see SpongeBob, and it does look pretty funny, and I don't know if I can fit it in, but Anaconda looks funny. I'll probably just end up streaming it. And I am almost done watching K-pop Demon Hunters. I just didn't get around to it because it was on streaming and everything, but my kid is now into it and sings the music, and I'm about halfway through because he's a kid and a toddler, and we keep stopping it and turning it on again and starting it over. I understand now why people love it, and it might make my top 10. It's really
interesting.
Good.
I may have to check it out, but I'm terrible at watching things at home.
Oh, it's really good. It's really good. Anyway, who knows what videos we'll get out in the next little while, but we hope that you'll all be safe out there. Enjoy your holidays if you celebrate. If you live somewhere cold, be careful with the drive-in. Don't get sick this holiday season. And we will see you at the movies. Leave us a Christmas present by liking or subscribing.
We'll see you soon.